All right, so a very good morning to you all, and we are so thrilled to see you all here. I mean, this many of you showing up at a weekend, maybe sacrificing your weekend plans to be here. So we really appreciate it. So today we are going to talk about that one more thing on your project plan that typically get pushed over 2 to 3 weeks or maybe even months, right? So we are here to talk how to simplify that process, which is React app logging. So before we get into today's workshop, let me first introduce ourselves. So my name is Nipuni Paaris. How many of you were there in the last 2 days? All right. Oh, okay. So I'm an associate technical lead at WSO2 IAM team, and joining me here today is Vaibhav Hapani. He's a software engineer at WSO2 as well. So I'm sorry, can we get this to work? Right. So this is today's lineup. So first we are going to walk you through what are the challenges that you're facing when you're adding user logging to your React applications. And then we are going to take on the most important part, managing user accounts. And then we'll be talking about how Asgardio JavaScript SDK is fitting to the picture, right? And then comes the most interesting part. So we are all developers, right? Talking is boring. So we are going to show you some live coding. So maybe you can follow along if you like. So there we are going to like spin up a quick React app and show you how to add login and secure logout within just a few minutes, right? And lastly, we are going to share some common best practices for you in case if you decide to do a user login by yourself or use one of our tools. It doesn't matter. So, I mean, why user login is such a difficult thing? Do you all think it is difficult? Maybe? No. Okay. So, even in the last 2 days, many people came into our booth outside, right, and asked, so why do I need an identity provider? I can do it by myself, right? So that's why we actually thought of having this slide here. So let's walk through the weeds. So sorry about that. Okay, so imagine this, right? So you build this amazing, beautiful, state-of-the-art React app, and now you realize, oh yes, people needs to log in, right? So first of the challenges in the list is the state management. So you need to manage the is authenticated state of the user across all your components, across all your pages. It's more like trying to keep a secret among a room full of gossips, right? So just one move goes wrong, you see that sign in button somewhere down the component tree and it all goes to hell. And then comes the security. It's a big one, right? So it's a scary one as well. So you need to consider, are you hashing your passwords correctly? Are you sorting them? Are you using like a cryptographically secure algorithm, or are you pretty much sure that you are not logging your user password somewhere in the console? So all of this you need to consider. And then comes the token management. Okay, now the user is logged in. You have the token. What now? So you need to juggle between the access tokens, refresh tokens. Now the access token expires, so you need to get a new token using your refresh token, and after a while your refresh token gets expired. Now what, right? And then comes token processing. Okay, you got the token, may it be a opaque token or like a JWT. So if it's like a opaque token, how do you make sure it's a valid token? And if it's a JWT, you need to verify the signature and get the user attributes, roles, whatever it is, and use it in your application to give a very personalized experience for the user. And then the session management, right? So how long should the user be allowed to log in? So what happens if your user idle for more than 30 minutes in your app, right? So you need to handle all these use cases gracefully and log them out whenever required. And next up is the redirect and routing. So what happens after user authenticates? Should they be redirected to where they started, or should they be redirected to the admin dashboard or whatever it is? So you need to handle these things in your redirect flow, right? And then comes another big one, the user experience, right? So we all seen it, like clunky, ugly, very complicated login experiences in some vendors out there, right? Because like it is, the user login is the first impression to your product, whatever it is. So having a bad user experience in that first step could be the first and the last time your user sees of your application. And then is the third party integration. So these days people don't want to remember anything. So they hate the username password combination. They want to just log in with their Google or Facebook or even GitHub accounts and just done with it, right? So each one of these integrations are just another auth flow, just another flow that you need to test and maintain and make sure that it's working. So all of that you need to manage apart from the business logic of your application. And of course, error handling. So what happens if the password is incorrect? What happens if the user is logged out? And what happens if the database is not accessible or the server goes down? So all these error flows you need to properly test and make sure that your application's user authentication system is resilient to whatever it is, right? And then there's the lack of a standard SDK. So out there's no agreed upon way for implementing this, right? Of course, there are protocols that underline act as like a common layer, but when it comes to the functionality of the SDKs, there's no like a standard SDK out there. So companies and all the developers out there try to invent the wheel and come up with their own thing. And on number 11 is the role-based access control. So in most of your applications, it's not enough to know that the user is logged in, right? So you need to know who the user is and what they can have access to. Is it like a normal user or like an admin login in? So, and then show the relevant pages based on what their permissions are or what they are allowed to see. And then comes the very old friend, CORS, or cross-origin resource sharing. So you need to make sure that your APIs work seamlessly with your front ends. And you need to make sure that your the authentication APIs are secure with CORS. So again, you need to handle that part as well. Then comes the most interesting part. How many of you like testing? Do you? Seriously? Okay, I thought maybe some QA engineers. Sorry? All right. So you have no other choice. So you don't like it, but you have to. Right. Okay. So apart from all the business logic, now you have to maintain a separate authentication system that you need to write tests to, mock the identity solutions, token flows, all that, right? So maybe not for these guys, but for you guys, it might be a pain. Okay. Now that we covered almost like most of the prominent challenges that you might face, if you decide to spin up your own user authentication in your React applications, let's move on to the next big part, the management of user accounts, right? Again, you're at a crossroads, right? So you can either use a in-app authentication or in-app user management system, or you can use a out-of-the-box identity provider out there. So user login in the good old days, user login was all about who has the most appealing or the most beautiful transitions, most beautiful CSS, but it's no longer that, right? So user login page is just the tip of that huge iceberg, and there are many things that you need to consider if you are developing an enterprise level application. So there are many requirements that you might need if you are like supporting a corporate product or like an enterprise level application. So there's social login, password reset, and there's consent management, user registration, account locking, application insight, all that, right? So our proposition is, so don't reinvent the wheel. Use a out-of-the-box IDP out there. Maybe, maybe not Asgardio, maybe there's like many other choices out there. So depending on your requirements, you can choose a IDP. So we are just here to propose you, go with a out-of-the-box IDP out there and focus only on your business logic. And because, so how many of you are trying your side projects, or how many of you are entrepreneurs? Oh, okay. But so if you take the tech market, right? So many people are coming up with all these ideas, and many people are trying to put out something, right? So you are in competition with like thousands and thousands of people. So it's all about if you have like similar ideas, it's all about who get to the market faster. So this is your way to take that one thing off of your plate, and maybe chill on a Goa beach and so do your business logic and be happy with it, right? Again, so just to solidify our proposition, let's talk about what out of the box identity providers are bringing to the table, right? So our core theme for today's workshop is why DIY when you can fly, right? So when it comes to the security, if you are going with a out of the box IDP out there, there's always like a dedicated security team whose daily job every single day is to analyze threat models or apply continuous patch for the security vulnerabilities. So they live and breathe all these things, so you don't have to. So if you are going with a IDP, you get all this expertise out of the box, and you can relax about the security aspects of it. And then, of course, if there are any product managers out there, they would love this. So of course, it's all about reducing how we can reduce the development effort, right? Again, that comes down to who can get their product to market faster. So you need to meet all these deadlines. So why worry about all these features that is not part of your core solution, right? And of course, scalability and compliance, right? So imagine you are a startup and you go viral overnight, and on the first day you had maybe like 10 or 15 users, but on the second day overnight you have now like millions of users trying to log in, but your infrastructure doesn't support it, so everything goes to chaos, right? But I mean, of course, that's the dream, right? So any guy who wants to like launch a startup, overnight success is almost everyone's dream, right? But even if not, when you go down the line, when you expand your product and when you expand your business, of course, scalability comes one of the most important concerns when it comes to like providing uninterrupted service to your end customers, right? And of course, there's compliancy. So you guys may have heard about GDPR, CCP, and all these privacy regulations out there. So I mean, if you fail to abide to these things, it might cost your organization or your company, hundreds of millions of dollars. So why risk it, right? And then, of course, you have a very professional-looking, streamlined user experience across all these recovery flows, registration flows, login flows, multi-factor, all that. You have like a very consistent user experience across these flows, and it will not be like a puzzle that user need to solve in order to get into your application or anything like that. Because in most of these companies, the professional designers and professional front-end engineers are working on these flows and working on these UIs for you, right? And of course, if most of the identity providers out there, their sole focus is identity and access management. So they are on top of all these authentication protocols and the specification updates that are coming in. So you may have heard about Auth2, SAML, SACML, all that, right? SCIM2. So there are like number of like sub-specification that comes under each of these protocols. So you need to be compliant in order to be consistent with the rest of the domain. And so most of the companies, they have expertise on this authentication or identity and access management domain. So you don't have to stay on top of that. And then you get centralized user management and governance. So application management, user management roles, groups, whether you want to like provision a set of customers into the user base or the identity platform, or do you want to decommission it or deprovision it? It will be already taken care of for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And again, as we talked about in our previous slides, most of the IDPs out there, identity providers out there, seamlessly integrate with all the vendors like Google, Microsoft, Apple, GitHub, you name it, they have it. Okay, now you have your React app, you have your IDP. How do you integrate these two? That's where Asgardio JavaScript comes into play. So they helps you to integrate your client or your server with the identity providers APIs and seamlessly work between the two. So these are some of the key benefits if you choose to integrate a IDP and if you choose to go with an authentication SDK like ours. So it seamlessly integrates well with Auth2 and OpenID flows in your JavaScript or React applications. And of course, since most of us are coming from like a IAM background, our SDKs will follow identity and access management best practices. And then, of course, you will have protection over common vulnerability size, XSS, and CSRF. So we'll get into how in the later slides. And of course, you have automatic refresh, token refresh, and token storage. So, I mean, when it comes to SPS, secure token storage is like a very big concern, right? Because your source code or like your JavaScript is exposed in the browser. So even if you store it in an environment file, it would be exposed. So we will be talking about how we can mitigate that and how we have mitigated in the Asgardio JavaScript SDK. And the best part is you don't have to use Asgardio with it. There's no vendor locking. So if you choose to go with another identity provider out there, depending on your requirement, this SDK allows you to integrate with any of the IDPs out there. And of course, we support most of the frameworks out there. So we have like a core JavaScript SDK, and we have another set of SDKs that are like framework specific. So it sort of works well with all the cross-platform technologies. So these are some of the SDKs that we have. And so for your client side, there's the, as I said, the JavaScript core SDK, and then we have the Asgardio React SDK. We have the Vue, and for the server side, we have the Next.js SDK, Express, and Nuxt. Okay, so enough talking. Let's get into some coding. So we encourage you to follow along if you have your laptops with you, and give this a try. And Vaibhav will be taking over the demo. Over to you.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Yeah. So let me show you how to integrate Asgardio with your React app using Asgardio SDK. You can follow along with me. I'll show you how simple it is to integrate. For that, first there is a quick start guide available online. You can easily follow that and create the app login. So let's follow that and show you. So this is the React quick start guide available on the documentation page. For that, first we'll create a React vtab, and then we'll create an application on Asgardio console and get the client ID, and then we'll follow along. Then we will move on to the next steps. So for this, you will need an account in Asgardio first, and yeah. So let me go to the Asgardio console and create an application first. Here you can just sign up. Yeah. So in applications, you can just create a new application. Choose React or Next.js. We have support for both of them. Yeah, React. Give any name like sample app or. Here you will have to provide your authorized redirect URL where your application is running. So for now, I'll be using Vite. So I'm providing this localhost 5173. Yeah, so this will create an application. It will give you all the configuration details such as client ID, base URL, redirected URL, scope as OpenID, and profile. We have other configuration as well, but let's not go into that. Let's first see how you can integrate login into your application. Now let's move on to the terminal. I already have a sample vtab created and also installed Asgardio SDK, because yesterday I was told that the network is not good here. So yeah, let's move on to the code part. Yeah, so here we have the main .js with the entry point of the application. We can just I have the Asgardio SDK installed. So now I can just wrap this application with Asgardio provider. Let's do that. Asgardio provider. Yeah, and in Asgardio provider, we'll have to provide some parameters such as client ID and base URL. Yeah, this you will get from the Asgardio console, right? Oh, sure. Sorry. Okay, I think we're all set. Now let's go to the app page. Let me remove this. Yeah. Now we have certain components like already provided in the SDK. We can, for example, we have signed out. signed out button. If the user is not signed in, if the user is already signed out, then we can just show we can just render sign in button. Yep. And that's yeah. If we go to the application, oh shit, I didn't run the application. Let me just run. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see, like, I'll show you the first. We have this button, sign in button. It's not work. It will work, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this will redirect us to the Esgadio login page. There is a user already existing in the Esgadio console in user management, users. Here you can add users. You can also while signing up when you integrate sign up page in your application, when you create a user, it will get created here as well. But right now I have created manually just for the test. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, sir. Yeah. So here you will have client ID and base URL. You can just copy and oh, okay. Yeah. You can just create an vtab and install the Esgadio React SDK following this. And when you are done, you'll have to wrap your application with Esgadio provider, providing client ID and base URL that you have got from the Esgadio console. Right. If now let me try to log in and show you. John WS2. Yeah, it's logged in. Now the button disappears because we are logged in. It will only appear if the user is signed out. Let me now go to the application again and implement. If the user is signed in. Sorry. And then let's show them sign out button. Now the sign out button appears. So this is the basic way you can create. I'll move on to, like, I have another an application created with a like proper home page and footer, header and stuff. I'll move on to that application for the better experience, right?
Have you guys been trying it out?
How many of you were able to follow up till now, till here? If you are trying.
By show of hands, can you tell us how many of you are trying this out? Okay. So how far have you guys gone? Sorry, yes.
Yeah, this is better. Okay. Shall I do that again?
Yeah. Let's start. Okay. We'll start from the top and then we'll go from there. Okay. So.
Yeah. First, have you created the application in Esgadio console? If yes, then we can move on to next step where we can create an application, Vite application.
So how many of you got the application registered in Asgardio? Right.
Great.
Anyone else stuck or couldn't get it done? All right. So all of you have registered the application in Asgardio, right? Good. So the next step is for you to create a React application using Vite. We've done that by show of hands. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Okay.
Do you have it? Oh, you are it.
So you can just Google Asgardio docs. Sorry, we don't have a QR code with us right now. So you can just go to Asgardio docs and you will find the SDK docs at the very top. So have you all created the React app so far? Yes. Yes. Increase the font. Good. So I assume we have created the React app, right? Good.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Next step is to install the React SDK into your application. So shall we show that?
Yeah. You can execute this command to install the Asgardio React SDK in your Vite app. Once it's done, we can go ahead.
Good.
Done.
SDK installed. No. Good. Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, we'll give you a couple of minutes or like seconds. It won't take a lot of time. So are you able to install the SDK because the network?
It's going.
Okay. We'll wait for like a couple of. So done with the installation, or are we still going? Done?
Raise your hands if you are done with the installation. Yeah.
Are we good to go ahead?
Now let's go to the next step. More.
So are you guys able to find this quick start guide on the Asgardio documentation page? Someone asked here. So you just Google Asgardio docs and on the left side, just Google Asgardio docs and go to guides. Yes. You'll find the React quick start. Good? Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. So the fourth step is now go to the application and in your main .jsx you'll have to import Asgardio provider and wrap your application around it with Asgardio provider and provide this parameters. You will get client ID and base URL from the Asgardio console. Yeah. So in console, when you created the application, how many of you have created the application? Okay, it's done, no? Yeah. So when you go to the application, you'll see the client ID and base URL.
So you can basically copy the Asgardio provider code snippet in the first
yeah, that's also
first page. Are you guys able to get this done? Good? Yes. So what was the registered, whatever that is registered base URL or the redirect authorized URL should be populated here, and that's. Did you added with the forward that you need to remove that?
Yeah, I've done that.
You're still getting an error? Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. In the next step, now we can go to the app.jsx, and then we can import sign in and sign out button. You can just copy paste this code. Let's first just copy the half of it, like only copy signed in, sign out, and sign in button. Like if the user is signed in, it will show only sign out button, and if in the second part is if the user is already logged in, then only the sign in. If the user is not logged in, then sign in button will be shown, right? So yeah, you can copy this and include in your application app.jsx. Once you are done till here, you can just run your application and go to the browser and check if it's working for you. You will be redirected to Esgardio when you click on the sign in button. Is this part done?
So, any one of you facing errors in the callback, right? So, it should be your base URL of your VTAP, right? 5173.
It will be localhost 5173 for you all, I think, because the application will run on that. Oh, yeah. So this will be the redirect URL, callback URL. You can just copy this and paste it in. Is it resolved? Like, is still anyone facing issue with the client? Nipuni, what's the error that they are facing? Like, what's the exact? Oh, okay. Can I move ahead? Okay. Okay. So, how many of you had how many of you were done with this step? Step number 5. You're done. Were you able to log in? You must have a user in Esgardio first. Yeah, you are done, right? Anybody else?
Question. In the .env file, we need to add the client secret?
No. You won't need it because it's a single page application, right? So you won't need. or you might be following some different guide. I think you need to follow the React Quick Start. Just React. Is you following Nexus? Yeah, there, because it's a server side, right? So there you will have client secret as well. It's not a single page application. You can follow the Nexus guide later.
I guess we can.
Yeah. So this is now when the user is logged in, you can show the user drop down. We can just sign out button. When the user is signed in, we are rendering sign out button. Instead of that, let's render user drop down, right? Let's provide user drop down. This will just show the user drop down, and it will have all the details of the user. Yeah, like this. When you go to the manage profile, it will show all the details. And when you can also enter your these attributes, and it will reflect on the Asgardio console as well.
Can you show the code once?
Yeah. So instead of you had signed out, right? In the signed in, you had sign out button. You can just replace sign out button with user drop down. Yeah. How many of you were able to complete this step? Anybody? You done? Nice. Good. Yeah. So this is the basic guide, guys. Till here, we can have user object as well, in which you can retrieve the user information and show user parameters as at your convenience, like in whatever format or with whatever UI you want to display, right? Now I have another application ready, which has a better UI. So I'll go there and show you app native as well. Now right now you are redirecting to other like Asgardio console. I'll show you how to do that in app native. You are not redirecting to the Asgardio. How many of you were able to implement the user drop down? Done, no? Yeah, we'll move ahead then. Yep, Tomato. It's a food delivery app, Tomato. We all know that. So this I already implemented the sign-in functionality. Right now I'm redirecting to the Asgardio right here, as you can see. Right. If I want to enable app native, I can just simply provide. Okay. Yeah. Better. Yeah. Yeah. So I've created a route for homepage. I have sign-in page as well. In here, in sign-in page, I will just this. So this sign-in component is provided by Asgardio SDK. It will be just a UI which will take an input like username and password, and it will show in-app, right? And in app.jsx, we'll have to provide a path here. Let's do that. Let's call it sign in. Let's import it. right? So we have provided a path for this component to render, and to be able to recognize this path, you also need to provide this path to SGuard provider, right? So when you click on the login sign-in button, SGuard knows where to redirect, and according to that path, this component will be shown, right? And in that component, we have already included the sign-in component from SGuard SDK. So in the main, here you can provide sign-in URL, right? That will be your path that you provided for the component. Now that I have configured this, and now if I show you, when I click on it, let me refresh first. When I click on the sign in, oh, thank you. Yeah. We can make this better with styling, proper styling. But yeah, this is the functional. Let me go to the home page again. Where does this go back? Yeah. Sign in. I need to refresh. Yep. So now when I enter the credentials, yeah. So the app native also works, and also I haven't provided the user drop down. So let me show sign out button. So user drop down already includes the sign out button. That's why I'm not including sign out explicitly. Yeah. So yeah. And even if I make some changes here and the app reloads, the session stays the same. Like session management is done. You don't have to log in again, right? So here you can see. And if I enter these parameters, this will reflect here as well, like in the users shown, right? So this is the basic things that you can implement. You can also change the color of the UI if you want, using this main.jsx. Yeah. You can also change the color of the theme. You can provide a color here. In the preferences, you can provide this object, and in the main, for the main, you can provide any color. Like let's provide black. Okay, I need to sign out too. Yeah, the color is black. Now this will be consistent across all the SGuard SDK components. So that's pretty much it. So this is how you can use SGuard SDK the very simple way. And there are also a lot of other components and functionality also available. You can check out the guide, not the quick start guide, the other guide, and implement the good authentication system. I think the demo is done. Not the entire. I have the basic template. I'll push it. I don't have the push. I can push that now. I think I had. Yeah, you can actually. Yeah, you can clone this repo. Okay, how to do that? Okay. You all can scan this QR code. It will be this is for my GitHub repository. You can clone that repository and use that to try this demo. I pushed the application on the GitHub. You can maybe clone the repository and change the client ID, and then you'll be able to sign in. Oh, the name is different. The one that I was showing you was Tomato. This is the same code as the one I was showing you, the Tomato app. Just the name is different. Oh yeah, QR code. If you are still facing an error or having any issues, you can come to our Gradio booth. We'll be happy to help you out, and we can have more chat. We are running out of time, so in some time I will move on to other slides. We have a few slides available. I'll be talking about the best practices to store the tokens. Okay, so the common best practices. For common best practices for authentication implementation, right? So most of the time utilizing OIDC Connect to secure an application. You have when you register that application, it uses the authorization code grant, right? So if it's a single page application, you need to go with Pixie. Pixie is another method to verify the another method to authenticate the user. So in this grant, along with the authorization code, a code challenge is sent with the
guys. So we'll share the code base and we'll share the links to the quick start guide with you. So maybe for now, let's post the trying part, and we'll go along with the presentation. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Nipuni. So while building an authentication component or module or whatever, it's always good to go with Pixie Flow while using authorization code grant. In Pixie Flow, for the single page application, we don't have the client secret, right? Because on the client side, we can't really, it's not secure. So client secret serves no purpose. So Pixie, with Pixie, we can, I'll tell you on the very basic idea. We can have more discussion later because it's a big, another topic. In Pixie, with the first request, we send the code challenge. And when we get the authorization code from the server, after user provides the credentials, when we get the code from the server, we send the code verifier along with it to get the token. The code verifier gets the code challenge that we sent earlier gets verified using the code verifier, and it gets verified that okay, this is the client, the request that is coming is valid or real, right? And always use secure API request. Always use HTTPS. Don't rely on HTTP. It's good to prevent man in the middle attack, right? And always validate tokens. Always validate tokens. Always validate signature. If the token is coming from the right authorization server or not. And restrict token scope to necessary permissions. If you receive a token, the token should not have all the permissions. It can, but it should be based on role. Let's say if the admin is trying to log in, admin usually have all kinds of permissions, right? They can create a user, delete a user, right? But any other user is trying to log in. If any other user has get the access token, that access token should not have the permission to change the other user's details, right? So this permission management should be done carefully, and then carefully choose the token storage or use BFF for pattern, like backend for backend for front end. Yeah, backend for front end. Sorry. Yeah. So we can use for token management. You can use backend for storing token, validate token, and everything. You can have your own backend. When you get the token, you will receive the token on backend side, and you will receive the information from backend. You will call for information from your backend, right? So implement proper session management, set idle and absolute session out. If the user is idle for a long time, you can just revoke the token. There should be a functionality. If the session is there can be absolute timeouts as well. If you can set hardcore deadlines, not deadlines, but time limit. And in that time limit, the token might get revoked. And you can also have, or you can use short-lived tokens. You can keep the timeline of the token very less, and whenever it gets expire, it is about to get expired. It requests for an refresh token, right? So it keeps the token keeps changing, and it's secure that way. Yeah. So most of the common token storage practices, like we store sometimes we store it in cookies, local session storage, backend for frontend, JavaScript memory workers. So here I'll tell you cookies and local session storage are vulnerable. Local and session storage are vulnerable for the cross XRF attack. If they inject a malicious script, then they can have an access to your token. Back and front end can be used. JavaScript memory also can be used, but if the app reloads, then the session is gone, right? Your memory refreshes, the state is refreshed, your session is gone. But in production, you won't have any problem, because in production we are not reloading the application. Workers. Workers are a good way to store the token. We recommend web workers to store the token once you get the tokens. They are secure that way. Yep. Let me quickly go through the last slide. Yeah. So why web worker? Because it enhances security by isolating the execution context. So they don't have access to the main thread, right? Web worker works on the another thread, not the main thread. So the token that is stored in the web worker is isolated from the main environment, and that way we can prevent XRF attack and CSRF attack. Basically, if the script is malicious, or if they try to get the token, they won't be able to, because they don't have the DOM access, right? And yeah, that also web workers compliance with the security policies such as CSP. Basically, if you are allowing a specific domain, only that request coming from that domain will be accepted. If similar domain with a little difference comes a request, it won't be served. So that way, web workers are more secure way to store the token. Yeah. If you have any questions, I mean we already have run out of time. If you have any questions, you can come to the Asgardia booth. We'll be more than happy to help you out and answer your queries. Thank you very much.